The city of Chicago is still going through some growing pains, especially with an incompetent mayor like Brandon Johnson. And then you also have President Trump starting his second tenure as president. And the big issue is what will happen with ICE. Because Chicago is a sanctuary city, as we all know, and there are many migrants there, some without documentation. And that has put a stress on the city, the educational infrastructure, and a whole bunch of other stuff. But the reality is that a lot of crime has occurred since these illegal immigrants are there. And because of that crime, Chicago citizens, those who are American citizens, are perturbed by that. But there is a person that would love to protect these criminals, and that is your guy here, Brandon Johnson. He is the mayor with the 14% approval rating, one of the lowest ratings of any major politician in the United States right now. But he's been adamant about not helping Trump or ICE remove these criminals.
City leadership and I remain close in our communications. We will continue to work closely with the Chicago Police Department to continue to monitor this situation. We stand together firmly in our welcoming city status, as well as our commitment to protecting all residents of the city of Chicago, no matter where you come from or how long you've lived here.
One of the neighborhoods and communities that have been affected by this crisis is a neighborhood called Pilsen. Now, Pilsen has a lot of Latinos, and of course, a lot of illegal immigrants have been living there, causing amount of crime. And Alderman Lopez, who's become an opponent of Mayor Brandon Johnson, is really sick of all of the crime and all of the shelters that have been put up over there, really displacing a lot of people in this community. And Alderman Lopez has decided to call out Brandon Johnson for being fake. Now, remember, he testified in DC in front of Congress about his, first inability to want to help ICE. And so he was checked on that. And so they asked him the question directly: will you deport illegal citizens if they mess up?
Is that in your cities, when someone's apprehended for a crime and ICE is now with this new federal policy wanting to come in and deport the criminal alien, that you will not cooperate with ICE? Will you turn that criminal over to ICE?
And we do not harbor criminals. Our local police department works hard every single day to ensure that the city of Chicago is
Yes
safe.
or no? Will you turn the criminal over to ICE?
With a criminal warrant from the federal government, our local law enforcement repeatedly collaborates with federal agents.
But we saw at the first clip, that's not what he was talking about, right? But that's okay. Alderman Lopez is going to go ahead on and put him where he needs to be.
Does this feel like mixed messaging to you? Do you feel like Mayor Johnson's message is getting out to Chicagoans, or that Chicagoans even know that Mayor Johnson and CPD are willing to turn over immigrants to federal agents?
Well, Alex, what we've heard over the last 26 months of his administration is that we will never cooperate. We will never work with the federal government. We will deport no one. And regardless of what crimes you commit, we are committed to keeping Chicago a sanctuary city for you. And then no sooner he gets his hand in the air, takes an oath before Congress, his entire tune changes. And he says, we don't harbor criminals. We're happy to work with you. Kumbaya, just so we could get out of that 6-hour hearing. That was a remarkable display of doublespeak if I ever saw in my political life. But the facts speak for themselves. They are not working with immigration. He's not met with Tom Homan. He refuses to engage Donald Trump or Secretary Noem to discuss what we can do to move forward together. And all the while, he keeps encouraging the federal government to go into the neighborhoods when he's in Chicago and get people to get those undocumented individuals themselves.
Well. We got Brandon Johnson, who is a liar. A round of applause for him. On one end, he's not willing to help ICE because this is a great place for everybody to be. Citizen or non-citizen, doesn't matter if you are committing crimes. And then, He doesn't want to answer the questions directly. But now Alderman Lopez is saying, hey, listen, you need to be working with ICE. Why are you not doing so? You're making it very hard to do this. And this just really reminds me of some of the issues that we have in Black leadership. On one hand, the strategy is to depend on your Blackness and be on your Blackness to get people in the community to feel a certain way to vote with you and to vote for you and to give you an opportunity. So many Black politicians do that. Tiffany Henyard of Dolton did that. Support me because I'm a Black single mom. You know, Brandon Johnson, I'm a Black married man, but I love the community. You know, I have ties to the west side of Chicago. Now, once these people get into office, then we start to see the higher agenda, which is tied to the governor. And hey, you know, we need to basically protect these illegals. So the question is, why is he so adamant about protecting these illegals instead of the people that helped him get into office? And I can tell you at least one of those things. Because see, a lot of Black politicians forget who put them into office. I can't sit here and say for sure that he's doing it because of the Illuminati or all those other things, but simply Brandon Johnson has forgotten what community put him there in the first place. This is the same case that Tiffany Henyard just experienced. She forgot the Black community put her as the leader of Dolton. And then she got lucky when she became the supervisor of Thornton Township. But now, since she's gotten some power and she's able to taste it and get a little bit of celebrity fame, it has really blown up and got to her head. So at a point, she thought she was invincible. Well, she learned just a few weeks ago that she will no longer be the mayor of Dolton, and she will be basically making videos on YouTube like myself in just a few weeks, because she will be broke by the time June comes. She will be out of the office. And Brandon Johnson, he may have forgotten that he replaced Lori Lightfoot, somebody that people had a big issue with. And then now he's doing even worse than her, but he's not thinking about the fact that, well, you know what, when my turn comes, I'll be gone too. He's thinking about that can't happen to me because they elected me. But you're not giving the people what they want. You want to give the people what you want them to have, and then expect that you should be able to be supported by these same people. And I see Black politicians always falling into that same trap. Y'all elected me, so now I know better than you what you actually need, and then forget that you're gonna need these same constituents to bring you back into office every 4 years. This is not a dictatorship like we see in certain countries. You actually have to serve the people. And I believe that Black politicians, until they get that right, until they understand that they are not going to be in office, they're going to be one and done. And then once you get that one and done, the Democrat Party is going to let you literally fry yourself and sit there in shame by yourself because you forgot about who your people are. We should never denigrate our own people who help us get into business, who help us get into personal relationships, who have helped us get ahead, and then we turn on them for foreigners that don't do anything for us. How can we fight for others who won't fight for us, and then feel that it is okay to do that? And then once you suffer, and then all of that, you will go back and say, well, you know what, like Lori Lightfoot was saying, they don't want a Black female mayor, or you know what, it's these Trump supporters. You're just being completely delusional at that point, and the sign that Black people really have to stop being so based on color and look at agendas. Look at the plan that the mayor has for the Black community, or any politician for that matter, because you're gonna get stuck with another person again who's gonna be incompetent. And then once they get into office, they're gonna show you their ass to kiss for 4 years and then say, deal with it, vote me out. But guys, what do you think? It's your boy O'Shea Dude Jackson back at it again with another episode of Fair Use. I'm out.